Born in New York City in 1858, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt was governor of New York before becoming U.S. vice president. At age 42, Teddy Roosevelt then became the youngest man to assume the U.S. presidency after President William McKinley was assassinated in 1901. He won a second term in 1904 and became best known perhaps for his legacy of land conservation and his foreign policy to, quote, speak softly and carry a big stick. But before he became one of the great U.S. presidents and had his face memorialized on Mount Rushmore, Teddy Roosevelt led a life that embodied his philosophy for, quote, the strenuous life. His early adventurous life is now the subject of a new work of historical fact and fiction titled The Perilous Adventures of the Cowboy King, a novel of Teddy Roosevelt and his times. And I'm delighted to have joining us now the author, the acclaimed author, I should say, and a good friend, Jerome Charron. Always good to see you, and especially good to see you when you have a new book out.
Thank you.
This was such a wonderful book to read. And an adventure yarn, like the old-time adventure yarns. One of the reviewers I saw said he, meaning you, has written a rousing yarn and he has written it well. And I thought that's a great way to capture this whole thing because it's not a traditional biography.
No.
You know, I am a fan of Teddy Roosevelt. I've read many of the biographies. This is very different, kind of an action tale and story. Why did you want to do it that way?
Well, he's the first superhero. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, I was first drawn to him because, not because of his heroic manner, but because he was an asthmatic child, and his father took him on these rides through the cities so that he could breathe. And
it's the great start of the book when you experience that. You really experience that ride.
You are on that right. See, that's one of the answers why one does not do a traditional biography, because you can't have any intimacy in a biography. You need the beat of fiction to get into the rhythm of the character. But what impressed me the most was T.R.'s father, a wealthy man who was not interested in wealth. He was only interested in
that's a
poverty.
Foreign concept, isn't it?
I know. It's very unlike our own time. And what possessed me, because I had such a troubled relationship with my own father, that I was very moved by the fact that Teddy's whole life was formed by the fact that he never wanted to do anything that his father would have disapproved of.
Yeah.
His entire life was built on that premise. As a matter of fact, when he came into the White House, the first thing you see is a portrait of his father.
His father. I think one of the other things I'm struck by is the contrasts.
Right.
So you talk about this sickly young boy becoming the superhero. Our first superhero is the way you describe him, and he is. And all these adventures. So you start with the sickliness, and he becomes the adventurer. Contrasts such as, you talk about he heads out into the Dakotas.
Right. Becomes a deputy sheriff.
Becomes a deputy sheriff, but he's also carrying a Bowie knife that came from Tiffany's. It's like,
so all
who
these
is
contradictions,
this guy?
all these contradictions. The rich man who was the tenderfoot, who finally found a place for himself as a man of the West. He was the Manhattan cowboy. He was filled with contradictions, and he was the first man who was really caricatured. So that's why the cover sort of represents the man.
I want to talk about that, because you look at this cover, and I know they wanted to make it almost look like dime store hero novels, comic book types of things. And the fact is, you mentioned he was the most caricatured man perhaps ever. And now maybe we might say now, and I want to get to some comparisons of the current president. But so did you kind of, even as a 15 cent, as if it was you're buying it as a dime store thing? Were you okay with this from the start, or did you have to kind of get used to this?
Well, I didn't see the book as a kind of a caricature. I'm only the writer, So, but I do understand that, my mind works in very, if you want something traditional, you don't read my work.
You're not the guy.
If you want something that's going to surprise you on the next page, I'm the right person,
And you've done so many of these historical biographies in a fictionalized version.
Exactly.
So you can create the voice and the persona.
You need to find the voice.
Yeah.
As you know yourself as a novelist, that voice is the thing that sort of is the magic that draws you into the book.
And you definitely, as I said, I've been a Roosevelt fan. I've read so much of the
Right.
stuff, and I immediately found the voice that you found here.
Right.
I said, Jerome got it. It's right here. Let me ask you this. There have been comparisons made about Teddy Roosevelt
Right.
and President Trump.
Right.
And I know you've looked at some of the parallels between
Right.
the two of them. What did you discover about the parallels?
Well, it's strange that there are great similarities. I mean, in terms of ego, in terms of the way Trump uses the tweet, the way Trump, they're both, I mean, their politics were completely different, but the egos were central to both of them. And both of them enjoyed the presidency immensely. They're both having a great, great time. Teddy Roosevelt didn't want to leave the White House. I mean, I think his depression starts the moment he leaves the White House. He had an uproaring, incredible time as President of the United States.
He's been described, and I know you've talked about this also, as perhaps our greatest non-wartime
Yes,
president.
greatest peacetime president.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Well, because, he was not beholden to any party. I mean, the Republicans really didn't put him into the White House. And also, he believed in helping people who were poor. He fought the corporations. He created a kind of peace between Japan and Russia. No one else could do it. So, we caricature him, we make fun of him. If you remember, my first image of Teddy Roosevelt when I was a little boy, I saw Arsenic and Old Lace, and you see this crazy man running up the stairs as if he's recapitulating the charge up San Juan Hill. So that's the Teddy Roosevelt you imagine. But then when you start reading, you see a very different man, a much more complex man, a man who was of his time, who had the prejudices of his time. I mean, look, he was a great hunter and a conservationist at the same time.
Yeah.
He started the Boone and Crockett Club, which is a club for hunters. They also built the Bronx Zoo. They also built all the national parks and made sure that there were no vendors in the park. You couldn't sell anything in there. So, all these contradictions. If you go to Sagamore Hill, you see these antlers, and it's very hard for you to sort of position yourself in terms of who this man. He was a living contradiction.
Just a fascinating man. It's a marvelous book. It was described as a nonstop action-adventure novel, and it is all that and more. And I said, somebody who was a fan, I got into this, and now I'm really a fan. I think people, even if they're not fans of Teddy Roosevelt, they're going to want to read this because it's fabulous. Jerome, it's always good to see you, and as I said, it's always good to see you when you come carrying a new book.
Thank you
We'll look
so
forward
much,
to the next one. You be well.
Bye.